AWS Cloud Practitioner Definitions, compiled by Jose Santos. Compute section. Amazon EC2. Amazon EC2 provides resizable compute capacity in the cloud and allows you to launch virtual servers to meet your specific workload requirements. AWS Lambda. AWS Lambda lets you run code without provisioning or managing servers. It automatically scales based on the incoming traffic and executes code in response to events. Amazon ECS. Amazon ECS is a highly scalable, high-performance container orchestration service that allows you to run and manage Docker containers on a cluster of virtual servers. Amazon EKS. Amazon EKS is a fully managed Kubernetes service that makes it easy for you to run Kubernetes applications on AWS without needing to install, operate, and maintain your own Kubernetes control plane. AWS Batch. AWS Batch enables you to run large-scale batch computing workloads using containers and orchestrates the execution of jobs based on parameters you define. Batch jobs tolerate disruptions, which makes them a good fit to use EC2 Spot instances. Batch jobs are usually run at midnight or off hours. Amazon Lightsail. Amazon Lightsail provides a virtual private server with a simple pricing model and an easy-to-use interface, making it ideal for developers, small businesses, and students. You can easily deploy a website that uses WordPress. You wouldn't use Amazon Lightsail in a production environment in the enterprise because it's not a solution that scales easily with high demand. AWS Outposts. AWS Outputs brings native AWS services, infrastructure, and operating models to your data center or colocation space to support applications that require low latency access to on-premises systems. This is a physical server rack with equipment that AWS ships to your on-premises, so that you can interact with it as if you were interacting with AWS services, such as EC2 instances, RDS instances, S3 buckets, etc., but at a very low latency because the equipment is in your on-premises. Of course, the data in the Outpost rack will be synchronized with AWS via a hybrid connection, such as a direct connect. AWS Fargate. AWS Fargate is a serverless compute engine for containers that allows you to run containers without having to manage the underlying infrastructure. It can be used with ECS and EKS. Amazon Elastic Beanstalk. Amazon Elastic Beanstalk is an easy-to-use service for deploying and scaling web applications and services developed with popular programming languages or frameworks. All the developer has to do is bring his/her code as a zip file to Elastic Beanstalk, and it will create the necessary AWS resources to a highly available, elastic, scalable, and fault-tolerant application. EC2 pricing options. On-demand instances. On-demand instances are instances where you pay for compute capacity by the second, but billed at an hourly rate, without long-term commitments, providing flexibility and scalability. This uses the pay-as-you model. Reserved instances. Reserved instances offer significant discounts compared to on-demand pricing by reserving instances for a specific term of 1 or 3 years. There are two types of reserved instances. 1. Standard reserved instances. 2. Convertible reserved instances. AWS Standard Reserved Instance. AWS Standard Reserved Instances is a purchasing option that allows users to reserve Amazon EC2 capacity for a 1 or 3 year term, providing significant cost savings compared to on-demand pricing, with restrictions on instance type specifications and availability zone where the EC2 is launched. AWS Convertible Reserved Instances. AWS Convertible Reserved Instances are a purchasing option that enables users to reserve Amazon EC2 capacity for a 1 or 3 year term with the flexibility to change instance type specifications and availability zone where the EC2 is launched. However, the cost savings may not be as substantial as with standard reserved instances. If you change any of the specifications listed above, it has to be for one of the same or higher value than your current one. Spot instances. Spot instances allow bidding for unused EC2 capacity at potentially lower prices than on-demand instances, suitable for flexible workloads and cost optimization, but instances can be terminated with a warning time of 2 minutes if the spot price exceeds your bid, not ideal for mission-critical workloads. But it works fine for workloads that tolerate interruptions. Dedicated host. Dedicated hosts enable running multiple instances on a physical server exclusively dedicated to your use, providing control over instance placement, but come with a higher cost compared to other pricing models. In many cases, you are going to have to choose this instance type if you have a software licensing or compliance with regulation requirement. You can launch multiple virtual machines on the dedicated host. Dedicated instances run on hardware dedicated to a single customer, offering isolation at the instance level, but may incur additional charges compared to shared tenancy models. Compute savings plans that provide flexibility and cost reduction of up to 66%, automatically applying to various compute service types, such EC2 instances, Lambda and/or Fargate. The commitment you get into for a period of 1 or 3 years is with respect to the amount of money you're going to spend on those services on a monthly basis. Storage section. Amazon S3 provides secure, durable, and scalable object storage for a wide range of data types, allowing you to store and retrieve any amount of data from anywhere on the web. S3 Standard has 3 copies of your data in 3 availability zones. You get 11.9s of durability. High availability and performance. Buckets and objects are accessed through HTTP or HTTPS protocols. You pay for the amount of storage that you use in your buckets and the type of requests you make, such as GET, POST, or PUT that you make. S3 pricing tiers. S3 Standard storage class for general purpose data with high durability, availability, and performance. This is the most expensive, but not as expensive per gigabyte than storing data on EBS or EFS. S3 Object Lifecycle Policies. S3 Object Lifecycle Policies are rules that you create to automate the management of objects stored in Amazon S3, allowing you to define actions for objects based on their age or storage class. By using Object Lifecycle Policies, you can define the intervals at which items can be moved from S3 Standard to S3 Infrequent Access after a certain period of time. You can optionally move objects that have been stored in S3 Infrequent Access for a predetermined amount of time to Amazon Glacier. You'll use S3 Object Lifecycle Policies when you know the access patterns of your data. S3 Intelligent Tiering. S3 Intelligent automatically moves objects between 2 access tiers based on changing access patterns, optimizing costs without performance impact. Use intelligent tiering if you don't know the access patterns of the objects in your buckets. S3 Standard Infrequent Access. S3 Standard Infrequent Access is suitable for data accessed less frequently than Standard, but requires rapid access when needed. You have to pay a retrieval fee every time that you need to have access to the objects. Objects are accessed right away. S3 Infrequent Access 1 Zone. S3 1 Zone Infrequent Access is cost-effective storage class with data stored in a single AWS availability zone. Durability and availability are highly decreased with respect to S3 Standard and S3 Infrequent Access. Use cases: store objects from which you have backups or you have access to the original data so that you can easily reproduce it. Amazon Glacier. Amazon Glacier is a low-cost storage service for data archiving and long-term backup that is designed for infrequently accessed data with long-term retention requirements. Amazon Glacier is restored within a 3 to 5 hour period for standard retrieval. 5-minute retrieval for expedite retrieval at a more expensive cost than standard. Amazon Glacier Deep Archive. Amazon Glacier Deep Archive is an even lower cost storage service for data archiving and long-term backup that is designed for infrequently accessed data with long-term retention requirements. Data stored in Glacier Deep Archive is restored within a 12-hour period. Amazon EBS. Amazon EBS offers persistent block storage volumes that can be attached to Amazon EC2 instances, providing low latency performance and data persistence. You can choose between 2 types of technology for it: 1. Solid state, also known as SSD, or 2. Hard disk drives, also known as HDD. EBS Snapshot. An EBS snapshot is a backup of an AWS Elastic Block Store (EBS) volume, capturing its data and metadata at a specific point in time. It's stored in Amazon S3 and can be used for data recovery and creating new EBS volumes. Amazon EFS. Amazon EFS provides scalable file or folder storage for use with Amazon EC2 instances, allowing multiple Linux instances to access the same file system concurrently. It uses the Network File System Network Protocol, or NFS. It is compliant with POSIX, Portable Operating System Interface, to be able to user or group access to files or folders in the EFS file or folder share. AWS Storage Gateway. AWS Storage Gateway enables hybrid cloud storage between on-premises environments and the AWS Cloud, providing seamless integration with various storage services. There are 3 types of storage gateway. 1. Volume. It uses the ISCSI protocol. 2. File. For file shares, it uses the NFS or SMB protocols. And 3. Backup or backup library that uses the ISCSI protocol. The backup storage gateway is used instead of a physical tape backup library. Amazon Storage Volume Gateway. Amazon Storage Volume Gateway is a hybrid AWS storage service that allows you to create and manage virtual volumes on premises, utilizing ISCSI as the protocol for interaction. Amazon Storage File Gateway. Amazon Storage File Gateway is a hybrid AWS storage service that enables users to create and manage virtual file shares on premises, utilizing either NFS or SMB protocols for interaction. Amazon Storage Backup Gateway. Amazon Storage Backup Gateway, also known as Amazon Storage Backup Tape Library Gateway, is a hybrid AWS storage service that allows users to create and manage a virtual backup tape drive or library on premises, utilizing the ISCSI protocol for interaction. Amazon FSx. Amazon FSx provides fully managed file storage built on the Lustre file system for Linux or Windows file server, offering high-performance file storage for compute workloads. Amazon EC2 Instance Store. Amazon EC2 Instance Store provides temporary block-level storage for EC2 instances, offering high-performance storage that is ideal for temporary data and cache storage needs. EC2 instances that boot from Instance Store cannot be stopped, only terminated. EC2 instances in which the root volume is an EBS volume, but use Instance Store as an additional drive can be stopped, but the data in the Instance Store volume will be lost when the instance is stopped. Security section. AWS Identity and Access Management, IAM. IAM enables you to manage access to AWS services and resources securely by controlling who is authenticated or signed in and authorized, meaning, has permissions, to use resources. You can create users, groups of users, roles. Roles are used to be able to have one AWS service access another AWS service. A role can also be used to grant access to your AWS account to a person who is a user of a separate AWS account. AWS IAM User. IAM User is an entity that represents a person or application that interacts with AWS services. Each user has a unique name and security credentials associated with it. A user can have an AWS Management Console credentials, username and password, and/or programmatic access keys. By default, a new user doesn't have any permissions in your AWS account and doesn't belong to any group. A user can be granted permissions through policies or group membership to interact with specific AWS services. AWS IAM Group. An AWS IAM Group is a collection of IAM users. Groups are used to specify permissions for multiple users at once. It is important to note that groups in AWS IAM cannot be nested, meaning one group cannot be a member of another group. Despite this limitation, groups simplify user management by allowing administrators to assign permissions to a group rather than individual users. This streamlines the process of granting or revoking access to resources for multiple users simultaneously. IAM role in AWS. IAM role is a set of permissions that defines what actions are allowed and denied for an AWS service. It is assumed by entities such as users, applications, or services to gain temporary security credentials and perform tasks within an AWS environment. IAM Policy, an Identity and Access Management, IAM, policy is a set of rules written in JSON format that defines the permissions and access controls for users and resources within a system or platform. IAM Policy Simulator. AWS IAM Policy Simulator is a tool for testing and troubleshooting IAM policies by simulating their effects on user actions and resources. IAM Credential Report. IAM Credential Report is a feature in AWS Identity and Access Management, IAM, that provides a comprehensive overview of the status and usage of IAM users' credentials, including their last login times. IAM Credential Report. IAM Credential Report is a feature in AWS Identity and Access Management, IAM, that provides a comprehensive overview of the status and usage of IAM users' credentials, including their last login times. Amazon Macy. Amazon Macy is a security service that uses machine learning to automatically discover, classify, and protect sensitive data, such as personally identifiable information and also intellectual property, in S3 buckets. Amazon Guard Duty. Amazon Guard Duty is a threat detection service that continuously monitors for malicious activity and unauthorized behavior to protect your AWS accounts and workloads. Amazon Inspector. Amazon Inspector is an automated security assessment service that helps improve the security and compliance of applications deployed on AWS by checking for security vulnerability and making sure your resources don't deviate from best practices. Amazon Inspector works exclusively with EC2 instances. AWS Key Management Service, AWS KMS. AWS KSM is a managed shared tenancy service that makes it easy for you to create and control the encryption keys used to encrypt and decrypt your data at rest. AWS Cloud HSM. AWS Cloud HSM is a managed single tenancy service that makes it easy for you to create and have full control of the encryption keys to encrypt your data at rest. Because this physical device is dedicated exclusively to your account in the AWS region where you request it, you're going to pay a high monthly price for it. Usually the requirement for CloudSIM is due to compliance with regulation in certain industries, such as in finance. Amazon Cognito. Amazon Cognito provides authentication, authorization, and user management for web and mobile apps that your company develops. There are two different Amazon Cognito services: 1. Amazon Cognito User Pools, and 2. Amazon Cognito Identity Pools. Amazon Cognito User Pools. Amazon Cognito User Pools are for user authentication. Cognito User Pools are user directories that provide sign-up, sign-in options, and password reset for the web and mobile applications you host in AWS. Users can sign up, or sign in through the user pool or federate through a third-party identity provider, IDP, such as Facebook or Google. Amazon Cognito Identity Pools. Amazon Cognito Identity Pools are for authorization, which means what type of access they have to your AWS resources. Cognito Identity Pools provide temporary AWS credentials for users who are authenticated through user pools or third-party identity providers, IDP, such as Facebook or Google. This enables users to access AWS services securely without directly exposing their credentials. AWS WAF. AWS WAF is a web application firewall that helps protect web applications from common web exploits that could affect application availability, compromise security, or consume excessive resources. The WAF protects your apps against the following exploits: SQL injection, cross-site scripting, XSS, brute force attacks, among others. AWS Shield. AWS Shield is a managed distributed denial of service, DDoS, protection service that safeguards web applications running on AWS. There are two versions of Shield, Basic and Advanced. Shield Basic is free of charge. Shield Advanced is expensive, but it gives you access to a dedicated AWS team that deals with distributed denial of service attacks. Important: Amazon Web Application Firewall, WAF, and Amazon Shield provide protection for Amazon CloudFront, Amazon Application Load Balancer, ALB, and Amazon API Gateway. WAF safeguards web applications from common web exploits, while Shield defends against distributed denial of service, DDoS, attacks across the AWS infrastructure, ensuring application availability and security. Amazon Detective. Amazon Detective helps you investigate security issues to get to the root cause of it. It does it across your AWS workloads by analyzing, visualizing, and collaborating on security data. The sources of evidence it uses are logs from CloudTrail and VPC Flow logs. AWS Systems Manager Parameter Store. AWS Systems Manager Parameter Store provides secure, hierarchical storage for configuration data management and secrets management, such as passwords, database strings, and license codes. It enables you to centralize and manage configuration data for your applications. However, it's important to note that AWS Systems Manager Parameter Store doesn't automatically rotate and update credentials like Secrets Manager does. AWS Secrets Manager. AWS Secrets Manager helps you protect sensitive information such as passwords, database credentials, and API keys in a secure manner. Additionally, it rotates and updates the credentials, such as passwords, API keys for extra security. AWS Firewall Manager. AWS Firewall Manager is a security management service that allows you to centrally configure and manage firewall rules and applications in AWS across the multiple AWS accounts in your AWS organization. AWS Security Hub. AWS Security Hub provides a comprehensive view of your high-priority security alerts and compliance status by aggregating, organizing, and prioritizing your security findings from multiple AWS services. Its main purpose is to centralize the observability and prioritization of your security findings in multiple AWS services. AWS Single Sign-On. AWS Single Sign-On allows users to securely access multiple AWS accounts and business applications using just one set of credentials. Principle of Least Privilege. Principle of least privilege is the security principle that restricts user access rights to only the minimum levels required to perform their job functions. Multi-factor authentication, MFA. Multi-factor authentication, MFA is a security feature in AWS that provides an additional layer of protection by requiring users to provide 2 or more forms of authentication before gaining access to their accounts or resources. Identity Federation. Identity Federation is a feature in AWS IAM that allows users to access AWS resources using existing credentials from external identity providers, such as Active Directory, Facebook, or Google, without the need to create new AWS IAM users. AWS Identity Manager. AWS Identity Manager is a tool that helps organizations manage their compliance audit process by providing pre-built frameworks, automated assessment scheduling, and centralized audit reporting. Strong Password Policy. Strong password policy is a crucial security measure for organizations to enforce, enhancing account security and protecting against unauthorized access by ensuring that passwords are complex and regularly updated. Amazon Cloud Watch Logs. Amazon Cloud Watch Logs enables you to monitor, store, and access your log files from AWS resources for security analysis, troubleshooting, and compliance. It is used to receive and centralize all the log files generated by a fleet of EC2 instances, so that the log files aren't lost when EC2 instances get terminated. AWS Certificate Manager. AWS Certificate Manager manages the lifecycle of SSL/TLS certificates for your website or application deployed on AWS to ensure secure communication over the Internet. Such SSL/TLS certificates can be installed on certain AWS services to support HTTPS communications to support encryption in transit. AWS Directory Service. AWS Directory Service allows you to integrate your AWS resources with an existing on-premises Microsoft Active Directory or set up a new managed directory in the cloud for user authentication. This is particularly useful if your on-prem environment uses Microsoft Active Directory to locally manage users and groups, and their permissions, and you want to allow your users to continue to use their same credentials to interact with your AWS resources, instead of using identity and access management on AWS. AWS Simple Token Services, STS. AWS Simple Token Services enables you to grant temporary security credentials for users to access AWS resources securely. It's common to integrate Amazon Cognito user pools with STS to grant the users of your application to interact with AWS resources. AWS Config. AWS Config allows you to assess, audit, and evaluate the configurations of your AWS resources for compliance and security best practices. AWS Config is known for being able to keep track of configuration changes to your AWS resources. You can also get an inventory of the resources deployed in your account. AWS Artifact. AWS Artifact provides on-demand access to AWS security and compliance reports, as well as service-level agreements to help meet regulatory requirements and manage security audits. You can download such reports from Artifact. AWS Organizations. AWS Organizations centralizes management of multiple AWS accounts in the following ways. It helps in creating and managing a multi-account environment. Automation of account creation and implementation of service control policies are supported through the use of service control policies. Billing is consolidated to one account for all accounts. Volume discounts are available by aggregating data stored in S3 buckets in the multiple accounts. Secure cross-account access is facilitated for sharing resources within the organization. Unused reserved EC2 instances can be transferred to another account with owner account approval. Networking section. Amazon VPC. Amazon VPC allows you to create a virtual network in the AWS cloud, enabling you to launch AWS resources in a logically isolated section and control your virtual networking environment. Subnets. Subnets are segments of IP addresses within a VPC where you can place resources. They help organize and isolate resources within different parts of the VPC. Amazon Internet Gateway. Amazon Internet Gateway enables communication between instances in a VPC and the Internet, allowing resources within the VPC to access the Internet or be accessed from the Internet. Elastic IP addresses. Elastic IP addresses are static IP4 addresses designed for dynamic cloud computing. They can be associated with instances and moved between instances in a VPC. NAT Gateway. A NAT gateway allows instances in private subnets to initiate outbound traffic to the Internet while preventing inbound traffic from reaching those instances. Route tables. Route tables define rules for routing network traffic between subnets, Internet gateways, virtual private gateways, and other network devices within the VPC. Security groups. Security groups control inbound and outbound traffic at the instance level. They act as virtual firewalls that define rules for allowing or denying traffic to instances. Network Access Control Lists. Network Access Control Lists or NACLs act as a firewall for controlling inbound and outbound traffic at the subnet level. They provide an added layer of security by filtering traffic based on rules. Amazon VPC Peering. Amazon VPC peering enables you to establish private connectivity between VPCs within the same region or across different regions, allowing you to route traffic privately between them. No overlapping VPC CIDR blocks are allowed between the participating peering VPCs. Elastic Network Interfaces. Elastic Network Interfaces, ENI, are virtual network interfaces that can be attached to instances in a VPC. They allow instances to communicate with other instances or services in the VPC. AWS CloudFront. AWS CloudFront is a content delivery network service that accelerates the delivery of your web content to end users globally with low latency and high data transfer speeds. Amazon Route 53. Amazon Route 53 is a scalable domain name system, DNS, web service that provides reliable and cost-effective routing of users to Internet applications by translating domain names into IP addresses. AWS Global Accelerator. AWS Global Accelerator improves the availability and performance of your applications by routing user traffic to the nearest AWS edge location for a better user experience. This service is to reduce latency of the global applications that you run on AWS by making use of edge locations. Amazon Site-to-Site VPN. Amazon Site-to-Site VPN allows you to establish a secure and encrypted connection, using IPsec, between your on-premises network and your AWS VPC, enabling secure communication. The Amazon Site-to-Site VPN uses the public Internet, which makes the connection less reliable in terms of bandwidth. The latency of the connection is not as good as with AWS Direct Connect. Elastic Load Balancing. Elastic load balancing is a general term for a network device that automatically distributes incoming application traffic across multiple targets, such as EC2 instances, to ensure high availability and fault tolerance. Application Load Balancer. An application load balancer, ALB, is a service provided by AWS that distributes incoming application traffic across multiple targets, such as EC2 instances, containers, and IP addresses. It operates at the application layer, Layer 7, of the OSI model and provides advanced routing capabilities, content-based routing, and support for WebSockets. ALBs are commonly used to improve the availability and fault tolerance of applications by evenly distributing incoming traffic. Network Load Balancer. A network load balancer is a highly scalable load balancer that provides ultra-low latency performance for Layer 4 or network layer, TCP or UDP traffic, making it ideal for high-throughput applications. VPC Endpoints. VPC endpoints allow you to privately access AWS services without requiring Internet gateway traffic to pass through the public Internet. Gateway Endpoints. Gateway endpoints enable you to privately access Amazon S3 and DynamoDB from within your VPC without requiring Internet gateway traffic. Amazon Private Link. Amazon Private Link is a service that enables secure and private access to AWS services without using public IPs. In the context of software as a service, SaaS, it allows for secure data transfer, private access, reduced latency, and the creation of isolated environments for SaaS applications. Management services. AWS Management Console. AWS Management Console is a tool that offers a centralized user interface for overseeing various AWS services and also supports a command line interface for efficient management. CloudWatch. CloudWatch is an AWS service that provides a fully managed solution for real-time application monitoring, troubleshooting, and monitoring the health and performance of both AWS resources and applications. AWS Cloud Formation. AWS Cloud Formation is an AWS service that enables users to model and establish their entire infrastructure as code, IAC, allowing for the automation and replication of environments using templates, with the execution of these templates referred to as stacks. AWS Cloud Development Kit. The AWS Cloud Development Kit, CDK, is a framework that lets you define cloud infrastructure using programming languages like TypeScript, Python, and Java. It simplifies the creation and management of AWS resources by allowing you to define infrastructure components as code, automating provisioning through AWS Cloud Formation. Systems Manager. Systems Manager is an AWS service that offers a unified interface for accessing operational data from diverse AWS services, automating operational tasks across AWS resources, and aiding in maintaining security and compliance. Systems Manager Patch Manager, an AWS service that automates the process of applying security updates and other updates to managed instances, ensuring compliance and security for operating systems and applications. Systems Manager Run Command. Systems Manager Run Command is a feature of AWS Systems Manager that permits the remote execution of commands on EC2 instances or managed instances without the need for separate SSH or RDP connections, facilitating secure and efficient automation of operational and administrative tasks at scale. Systems Manager Maintenance Windows. Systems Manager Maintenance Windows is a feature of Systems Manager that allows users to schedule recurring maintenance tasks for their EC2 instances. AWS Cloud Shell. AWS Cloud Shell is an AWS service that provides a browser-based shell for managing, interacting with, and automating AWS resources through the AWS Command Line Interface, CLI, equipped with popular development and deployment tools. Systems Manager Session Manager. Systems Manager Session Manager is a feature of AWS Systems Manager that enables establishing remote sessions, for example, SSH or RDP, into EC2 instances without requiring inbound rules for remote access on the security groups of EC2 instances. OpsWorks. AWS OpsWorks is a configuration management service that provides managed instances of Chef and Puppet on EC2 instances or on premises, enabling automation of server configurations, deployments, and management. Cost and Billing Section. AWS Cost Explorer. AWS Cost Explorer allows you to visualize and analyze your AWS costs and usage over time, helping you understand your previous months of spending patterns and forecast future expenses. You can review and forecast expenses 12 months into the past, and project 12 months into the future. AWS Budgets. AWS Budgets enables you to set custom cost and usage budgets for your AWS resources and receive alerts when your costs or usage exceed the thresholds you define. The AWS Cost and Usage Report. The AWS Cost and Usage Report provides granular or very detailed information about your AWS costs and usage, allowing you to analyze data at a more granular level for cost optimization. AWS Pricing Calculator. AWS Pricing Calculator is a tool or service that helps estimate or get a quote for the costs of using a particular cloud service or resource on a platform like AWS. You don't need to have an account with AWS to get such a quote. You simply indicate what AWS service is with the specifics of usage. Total Cost of Ownership, TCO. Calculator. Total Cost of Ownership, TCO. Calculator is a tool used to estimate the overall cost of owning and operating a system or service over a specific period, taking into account all relevant costs including initial investment, operational expenses, and maintenance costs. AWS Marketplace. AWS Marketplace, a digital catalog featuring software listings from independent vendors to simplify finding, testing, buying, and deploying software on AWS. Databases section. You have two options when hosting a database server in AWS. Number 1. Install the database server software on an EC2 instance, but be aware that operational tasks, like creating backups, implementing high availability, and fault tolerance won't be easy to implement. Number 2. Use a managed database service, provided that AWS supports the database type that you need. This will make it much easier for you because you will implement backups and high availability and fault tolerance really easily. AWS will be in charge of applying the operating system and database engine software patches. Amazon RDS. Amazon RDS is a managed relational database service that supports popular database engines such as MySQL, PostgreSQL, Oracle, SQL Server, and MariaDB. Amazon Aurora. Amazon Aurora is a MySQL and PostgreSQL compatible relational database engine built for the cloud, offering high performance, scalability, and durability. Aurora RDS uses a RDS instance. Amazon Aurora Serverless. Amazon Aurora Serverless allows you to run an Aurora relational database without having to provision an RDS instance. You only pay for what you use. Amazon DynamoDB. Amazon DynamoDB is a fully managed NoSQL database service that provides fast and predictable performance with seamless scalability for applications requiring low latency data access. Amazon Elasticache. Amazon Elasticache is a managed in-memory caching service that supports popular caching engines such as Redis and Memcache for improving application performance. Amazon Neptune. Amazon Neptune is a fully managed graph database service that allows you to build and run applications that work with highly connected datasets using graph data models. Amazon DocumentDB. Amazon DocumentDB is a fully managed document database service that is compatible with MongoDB workloads, providing scalability and performance for document-oriented applications. Amazon TimeStream. Amazon TimeStream is a serverless time series database service designed to store and analyze time series data at scale with high performance and reliability. Amazon Quantum Ledger Database, QLDB. QLDB is a fully managed ledger database service that provides transparent and immutable transaction log capabilities for tracking changes to application data. Amazon Keyspaces. Amazon Keyspaces is a fully managed serverless database service that is compatible with Apache Cassandra, offering scalability and high availability for Cassandra workloads on AWS. Amazon DynamoDB Accelerator, DAX. Amazon DynamoDB Accelerator is a managed, highly available, in-memory cache service that provides fast and consistent performance for read-intensive workloads on Amazon DynamoDB. DAX helps improve response times for read requests by offloading the read traffic from DynamoDB tables. It is compatible with existing DynamoDB APIs, enabling seamless integration into applications without requiring code modifications. Amazon Managed Blockchain. Amazon Managed Blockchain is a fully managed service that enables you to create and manage scalable blockchain networks using popular open-source frameworks like Hyperledger Fabric and Ethereum, eliminating the need to set up and maintain the underlying infrastructure. Continuous integration and continuous delivery. AWS Code Commit. AWS Code Commit is a fully managed AWS service for source control, providing secure and scalable Git repositories. It facilitates team collaboration on code in a managed environment. AWS Code Build. AWS Code Build is a fully managed build service that compiles source code, runs tests, and produces software packages ready for deployment. It enables continuous integration and delivery, C/CD, workflows. Amazon Code Deploy. Amazon Code Deploy is a fully managed service for automating code deployments to any instance, including EC2 instances, Lambda functions, and Elastic Beanstalk. It streamlines the deployment process across different types of instances. AWS Code Pipeline. AWS Code Pipeline orchestrates the C/CD process by automating the build, test, and deploy phases of the release pipeline whenever there is a code change. It ensures a smooth and efficient workflow for software development and deployment. AWS Code Star. AWS Code Star provides an integrated development environment, IDE, for quickly developing, building, and deploying applications on AWS. It offers a unified user interface for managing software development projects, simplifying the development process. AWS Code Artifact. AWS Code Artifact is a fully managed artifact repository service provided by AWS that facilitates organizations in securely storing, publishing, and sharing software packages within their software development process, offering secure storage and management capabilities for software artifacts. Software Developing Services. AWS Amplify. AWS Amplify is a service that offers a wide range of tools and services for creating both web and mobile applications across the entire development stack, from front end to back end. AWS AppSync. AWS AppSync simplifies application development by enabling you to create a flexible API for securely accessing, manipulating, and combining data from multiple sources using GraphQL. It is particularly useful for mobile and web applications that require offline access to data, allowing developers to cache data locally on the device and synchronize it with the cloud once an internet connection is established, ensuring data consistency across devices. AWS Device Farm. AWS Device Farm allows you to test your mobile and web applications against a large collection of real devices in the AWS cloud. It enables you to run automated tests and perform manual testing to improve application quality. AWS Cloud 9. AWS Cloud 9 offers a cloud-based integrated development environment, IDE, that allows you to write, run, and debug your code using just a browser. It provides seamless integration with AWS services and supports collaborative coding. Application Integration. Amazon Kinesis. Amazon Kinesis makes it easy to ingest or collect, process, and analyze real-time streaming data so you can get timely insights and react quickly. Step Functions. Step Functions is a fully managed service provided by AWS for orchestrating serverless workflows. It enables you to coordinate multiple AWS services into serverless workflows, allowing you to build and execute complex business processes with ease. Key features include state management, error handling, retries, parallel processing, and integration with various AWS services. AWS X-Ray. AWS X-Ray provides real-time application monitoring and visibility into your serverless application's performance. It enables you to quickly identify and resolve issues by monitoring and analyzing performance data. Amazon MQ. Amazon MQ is a managed message broker service for Apache ActiveMQ and RabbitMQ. It makes it easy to set up and operate message brokers in the cloud for applications requiring reliable and scalable message queuing. Amazon Event Bridge. Amazon Event Bridge, formerly known as CloudWatch Events, enables you to build event-driven applications by routing real-time data from event sources such as AWS services, SaaS applications, and your own applications to targets like Lambda functions and Kinesis streams. Amazon Simple Notification Service, SNS. Amazon SNS is a highly available, durable, secure, fully managed publisher/subscriber messaging service that enables decoupling of microservices, distributed systems, and serverless applications. It provides topics for high-throughput, push-based, many-to-many messaging. It supports notifications to end users through mobile push, SMS, and email. Amazon Simple Queue Service, SQS. Amazon SQS offers a managed service for message queuing that enables decoupling and scalability for distributed systems. Amazon Simple Email Service, SES. Amazon SES provides a cost-effective, flexible, and scalable email service that enables you to send email messages from within any application, supporting marketing, notifications, and transactional emails. API Gateway. API Gateway facilitates the creation, management, and scaling of serverless RESTful APIs. It handles tasks like traffic management, authorization, and monitoring. Data Analytics Section. Amazon Redshift. Amazon Redshift is a petabyte-scale, fully managed online analytical processing data warehouse that allows you to run complex analytic SQL queries against large datasets. Amazon Athena. Amazon Athena is an interactive query service that makes it easy to analyze data in Amazon S3 using standard SQL. You can perform data analytics on the contents of S3 buckets as needed or ad hoc. Amazon S3 Select. Amazon S3 Select is an AWS feature that enables you to query and retrieve specific data from within a single object stored in S3 using SQL statements. It improves performance by reducing the amount of data transferred, allowing you to efficiently access only the necessary data without retrieving the entire object. Amazon EMR. Amazon EMR is a cloud big data platform for processing vast amounts of data quickly using popular open-source tools like Apache Spark and Hadoop. Amazon QuickSight. Amazon QuickSight is a business intelligence tool that allows you to create interactive dashboards and visualizations from your data. Amazon OpenSearch. Amazon OpenSearch, formerly known as Elasticsearch, service is an open-source search and analytics engine that allows you to perform real-time data analysis and visualization. It is used extensively in real-time operational analytics. Machine learning. Amazon Rekognition. Amazon Rekognition is a fully managed AWS service for real-time video and image analysis. It accurately labels objects, scenes, and activities in visual content using machine learning algorithms. Amazon Polly. Amazon Polly is an AWS service that converts written text into natural-sounding speech using advanced deep learning technologies. It provides easy-to-use APIs for text-to-speech synthesis. Amazon Transcribe. Amazon Transcribe is an AWS service that converts speech to accurate text. It offers a fully managed solution for transcribing audio files into written transcripts. Amazon Lex. Amazon Lex is a fully managed AWS service for building conversational interfaces, such as chatbots. It uses natural language understanding and speech recognition to create interactive conversational experiences. Amazon SageMaker. Amazon SageMaker is a fully managed AWS service for building, training, testing, and deploying machine learning models. It simplifies the process of developing ML models at scale. Amazon Comprehend. Amazon Comprehend is an AWS service that uses natural language processing to discover insights in text data. It identifies language, extracts key phrases and entities, performs sentiment analysis, and recognizes relationships between entities. Amazon Textract. Amazon Textract is a fully managed AWS service that automatically extracts text and data from scanned documents, PDFs, and images using machine learning algorithms. Amazon Forecast. Amazon Forecast is an AWS service that delivers highly accurate forecasts using machine learning. It helps businesses make better decisions based on predicted future trends, demand, and metrics. Amazon Personalize. Amazon Personalize is an AWS service for real-time personalization and recommendation. It analyzes user behavior data to deliver personalized user experiences, such as product recommendations, in real time. Governance. AWS Trusted Advisor. AWS Trusted Advisor offers real-time guidance to help you provision your resources following AWS best practices. It provides recommendations in areas like cost optimization, performance, security, and fault tolerance. AWS Well-Architected Tool. AWS Well-Architected Tool helps you review and improve your cloud-based architectures using a framework of best practices. It allows you to compare your workloads against AWS best practices and get recommendations for improvements. AWS Personal Health Dashboard. AWS Personal Health Dashboard provides alerts and remediation guidance when AWS experiences events that may impact your environment. It offers a personalized view of AWS service health based on your specific usage. AWS Control Tower. AWS Control Tower helps set up and govern a secure, multi-account AWS environment by establishing a landing zone based on best practices. It enables centralized management and prepackaged governance controls, and is used with AWS organizations. AWS License Manager. AWS License Manager helps manage software licenses from vendors like Microsoft, SAP, Oracle, and IBM. It provides tools to track, manage, and enforce licensing rules across AWS and on-premises environments. AWS Service Catalog. AWS Service Catalog allows organizations to create and manage catalogs of approved IT services. It enables self-service provisioning of these services by end users while maintaining governance and compliance. Technology. Amazon Connect. Amazon Connect is an AWS service that provides a cloud-based contact center solution for businesses to offer superior customer service at a lower cost. It includes features like automatic call distribution, interactive voice response, and real-time analytics. Amazon Pinpoint. Amazon Pinpoint is an AWS service that allows you to engage customers by sending them targeted messages through various channels such as email, SMS, push notifications, and voice messages. It supports customer engagement and marketing campaigns.